Hello and welcome to another edition of the Startup Show brought to you by Inc. Authority. I'm your host, Trevor Rowley. Today's topic is business ideas. Maybe you're entrepreneurial minded and you're looking for an idea to start your own business. Maybe you've always wanted to have a business of your own, but you've never known where to start. We've brought a very special guest to talk to us about it today. We want to welcome to the program Riker Kirschling, who's a startup coach at Inc. Authority.
Well, appreciate you having me today.
Hey, first of all, what does a startup coach do at Inc. Authority?
Well, we help make sure that businesses are compliant with state regulations when they're getting started up. It's a can be very stressful, very overwhelming situation when you're getting a new business going. And for a lot of our business owners, they're first-time business owners. They've never done this before. So my job is just to kind of help them along that process when they're getting started, just making sure they're set up properly with the state.
Yeah, so Inc. Authority has an incredible website, incauthority.com. And lots of people go there every day to set up their LLCs and their corporations. And as you said, many of them are first-timers. They've not done it before.
Absolutely.
And after they've made their purchase online, there might be a thing or two that maybe they should have considered adding to their shopping cart: operating agreements, help with getting an EIN number, corporate record books with ownership certificates, that sort of a thing. So you get a chance to talk to them. And if they didn't understand what those things were, you can explain it to them, explain the value. And maybe they decide that they want to take advantage of some of those things. You make sure that they have a complete package, that they're in the best position to be successful with their brand new business. So it's a very valuable service that you bring to people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love to think of it as if my toilet goes out, right, I'm not going to try to go fix that on my own. I'll call someone in to help them out with it. I like to think of myself that same way when they're getting a business started up.
So today's topic is business ideas, and you get to talk to these new business owners every day. I get to talk to people also, and sometimes I'm talking to them before they even have an idea of what it is they want to do. All they know is they want to run their own business. They want to be their own boss. They want to have their own financial independence, and they want to have control over their own time. And so they want to start their own business, but they're like, I don't even know where to begin. So what kind of advice would you give to somebody who said, I'd love to be my own business owner, I just don't have a business idea? Where might they begin?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can start in a few different places. The first one I always like to ask people is why they're doing it, what their motivation behind looking into starting a business is. Maybe for some people, it's for supplemental income. Maybe they're just looking for something to kind of do on the weekends or in the evenings. Maybe they have some free time, or maybe it's just something they're passionate about and they've always done it. They decided to transfer a hobby and turn it into a business.
Yeah, that's a really important consideration, right? How much time does somebody invest into their own business? Is this meant to be their own 8 to 5 going forward? Or like you said, is it going to be a side hustle? They're going to continue to have an 8 to 5 job. They want to do something on the side, because that makes a difference when you start looking for ideas to generate income. And something that you might do on a full-time basis might be very different from something that you might consider doing if you have less time to apply to it. So, Riker, there's a lot of people who want to be their own boss. They want to start their own business, but they don't really know what kind of business opportunities are out there and what it is that they might start. So for somebody who's coming to you who's like, hey, I want to start my own business, but I don't even know where to look, what kind of counsel or advice might you give to them?
Absolutely. And usually there's a reason behind people looking into even starting that question, right? Having the idea of, well, should I look into something as a side hustle, or should I change up my dead-end job that I'd like to do something for myself? A lot of times it starts with their community, whether it's a family member or a friend. Someone does something similar maybe in their friend group and they said, wow, that's a great idea. You're being very successful with it. I would love to take advantage of that for myself as well. So friend groups, community, personal recommendations are always priority number one when it comes to people looking to their first startup.
I think that, in addition to that, and that's very well said, having to be passionate about something, right? Are you passionate about that? Is it woodworking? Is it lawn care? Is there something that you just love that you enjoy doing? Because if you're going to start this new business, it needs to be something you enjoy. The last thing you want to do is start a business and go, I don't like this so much, right? And so I look at people and I'm like, what have you done in the past? What have you enjoyed doing? What skill, what trade do you have that might be unique or might be interesting or might bring value to other people? And start there with what you enjoy and what you're passionate about. And how can you turn that into a money-making proposition, right? Does that require a website? Does that require a storefront? Is that a work from home? But if you start with what you're passionate about, with what you have skills to work toward already, that's a great place to start. But what if I don't think I have any skills? What if I don't have that kind of experience? Where do I turn? And your suggestion to look in the community is really an important one, right?
Absolutely.
Because, every community has gaps. What is it that the general public is looking for that they can't find in your community? And how can you jump in there and slide in there and solve that need? Maybe it's an ice cream shop, right? Oh man, I wish there was a good ice cream shop. I'd love to get ice cream, but I got to drive, to the next town to get ice cream. Well, maybe that's the job, right? Maybe that's the business, is start your own ice cream shop. So there's always these things that can come up as a result of just sitting down and thinking about it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And the way I like to look at myself even, I'm a consumer first, right? I love spending my own money. I love working to be able to live my life and do things I enjoy doing. And a lot of times you'll go out in your community or you'll look online and you'll say, wow, I wish this existed. Or maybe this is something I could do better than what I see on the current implementation. And that's a great opportunity to maybe look into that as a side hustle, like we mentioned a bit earlier. Maybe it is something that you want to try developing over your free time. And the beauty of setting up an LLC especially is how easy they are to maintain. A lot of people think there's this huge barrier to entry. It's incredibly hard to get my own business. I'm not built to be my business owner. I have a family and I have a 9-to-5. The nice thing about LLCs are, especially when you're going through a company similar to ours, is they're very, very easy to maintain and manage, and you have people who are here to support you along that process.
All very, very true. And then there's franchise opportunities, right? So maybe somebody's in a position where maybe they've socked away a little bit of money, they've saved some money, and they can open a franchise, and their franchise might be their business. There's lists online that are easy to find. You can Google it and you can find franchise opportunities to start for, a very small amount of money, small investment to larger investments, right? But that's another way to find business ideas. Find out what franchise opportunities exist. Find out what matches the financial commitment that you're prepared to make. Another way to start a new business.
Absolutely.
What other things might you add to somebody that's thinking about a new business? You mentioned, certain niches and things like that. What other advice or research tools might you share with somebody?
Absolutely, yeah. So for me, especially if you're looking into a secondary income or you're looking into changing up your career path, first question is always why. Why is that reason that you want to change up that career path, or why you want to have some supplemental income? Maybe you want to start taking a couple more vacations, or maybe you had a new child and you're looking to start saving up a college fund for them, right? There's reasons behind people wanting to have a higher income or a reason for them to want to start developing their own passions and hobbies and transferring them into a business to monetize that income. So for me personally, I believe that there's a plethora of reasons people can want to start businesses. It just really turns down to the why. Why would you look into starting up something new?
Super important, that internal motivation, the self-awareness, because once you have that and then you match it with the opportunity, the idea that you find, the discovery, whether it's a franchise, whether it's a skill, whether it's a trade, maybe you're an incredible baker and you want to sell your baked goods, you take that motivation and that desire, you match it to the opportunity, to the skill set. Now you've got a business. And now you can go get your LLC set up to make sure that you limit your liability in that business and you go forward, you have the best opportunity to succeed. It becomes a match made in heaven.
Absolutely, it does. And it gives you a path to a future, right? Maybe you're in a position where you don't know exactly what you want to do over the next year. You don't have a 5-year, 10-year plan, and that's totally okay. I feel like myself, I wake up in the morning sometimes and I don't know where I'll be in 10 years. But that doesn't mean I can't start working towards my goals and my dreams and my aspirations and starting something as simple as an LLC that maybe you can convert those ideas in the future if a new passion starts up or a new idea starts up. You can always rearrange it, and now you have had a business behind you with backing. Maybe you're looking to start building credit. Maybe you're looking to start getting some financial or monetary assistance. Well, now you have a 10-year business you can start using instead of finding yourself in a position from scratch one. So planning for the future is just as important as planning for the now, and that's the beauty of starting up a new business is maybe you don't know exactly what you want to do. At least you're taking the first step in that right direction.
That's right. So you're an expert in helping people with their startup opportunities. You've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So what are some of the things that people should avoid? Some mistakes maybe you've seen people make as they've started up their business or they've come up with a business idea, things that people maybe ought to avoid or maybe ought to call and ask you about to guide them through and navigate them past the dangers.
Absolutely. And that's a great question. I feel like a lot of times it's not necessarily to any of our own faults. Sometimes when you're doing something new for the first time, you don't always have all the answers. And the secondary part of that is where to go to find those answers. You can hop on Google and go through 20 or 30 different websites and get 20 or 30 different answers. And that can be frustrating, especially when you're going into a new industry that maybe you're really excited about. And you have this passion, you have this idea, and now actually implementing that idea into something tangible is an incredibly hard transition to make. So the biggest thing I would say is seek advice, seek help, seek people who have done this stuff before so that you're not going through and trying to figure out what your next step is and finding yourself in roadblocks that can be easily avoidable just with a quick question or a quick phone call. So there's not necessarily a direct right or wrong, but there's assistance. Reach out to that assistance and let people who have done it before guide you through that process.
And that's some of the best advice that I've heard in the past too is, this idea that people are self-made millionaires, that's not true. everybody who has done it with the support of a team, right? And so build that team, right?
Absolutely.
Through your connections, professional associations, experts in starting up businesses. Get all the information you can from all of these people so that you can make decisions based upon good information, and that puts you in the best position to succeed. So appreciate you joining us today, Riker. This has been some excellent information, and thank all of you for joining us again also in the Startup Show. As always, brought to you by Inc. Authority, home of the free LLC. Hey, make sure that you hit the like button and that the notification bell is turned on so that you don't miss any of our future content. We appreciate the time you spent with us today, and we wish you much success.